You know, ladies and gents, this could be it. This could be the final episode of Phoenix Wright. I'm not sure that it is, and I don't know if I want to place bets that it is. But I cannot deny that we are near the end of this trial. And if this is the last episode, it's been a ride. I don't know if it is, but I guess we're about to find out. So, with that, ladies and gents, let's get into it. February 10th, 11:06. District Courtroom, number 7. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Hey Neil, how you doing? This might be the last episode, huh? Bet you're feeling kind of emotional. Well, just in case it is, I just want all the people watching to know that no matter how this episode ends, eventually, I am going to kill Phoenix Wright in a drunken rage. No matter what the rest of the games say, it might not be in the next game, and it might not be in the next 12 games, but eventually, I will execute Phoenix Wright while drunk out of my mind. Well, witness?
Yes. Can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
Shit. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night.
The plan. The whole plan began with my death. With the death? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die.
But you are Maya!
The idea was for me to kill Maya, and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway.
So that means you really are... Wait a minute. Maya's not dead. She is Maya. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya, Faye?
Yes. You have a problem with that?
Don't give us that nonsense. That's not why... Watch yourself, Trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during the cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya? Could it be true?
There was a whole plan that began with my death. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Were they in the same prison? Last year. She was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row, she was my mother. It was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan.
Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well. Even though I'm her own daughter. That way Pearl could become the master. All to make Pearl Fay the master of the Karain. This is fucked. She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister took... wait. Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan?
A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister, Iris. That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? So, Bizarro, welcome back. Turns out, Maya might be dead, and that girl that was in the stand was Delilah. Dahlia. When she ran away from Edgeworth, she switched places. Here's my theory. When she ran away with Edgeworth, I think her, Iris, was in the cavern thing, trying to help Maya get out. Maya, being possessed by Dahlia, is the person here right now. Phoenix hasn't come up to it yet, but I think we are currently talking to Maya's body with Dahlia inside.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in my life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple.
You mean Iris?
Yes. My father remarried a young woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? On top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible.
The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. Poor Pearlie is stuck in the middle of all this. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dream of having her bloodline become the main family. But for it to work, Maya Fey first would have to die. Maya would have to die? But why? For our bloodlines to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. Objection! Misty got in the way. But Pearls would have never agreed to do a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care about one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of master, that's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fey as well. How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya, and then have the blame pinned on Iris. You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about that. All she had to do was to follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would simply use her body and finish the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. Grr. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin. On Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I looked absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini? I never would have guessed so. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway, the plan went wrong, but... What do you mean it succeeded? You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of Master will pass on to Pearl Fey. Objection! That's absurd. Maya is just... She's just trapped. Trapped inside the sacred cavern. Oh, Phoenix. That's not true. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever. Aren't you, my darling Feeny? Shit, fuck. Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. Shit. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yeah, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why did you help carry out her plan? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? Shit. You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. But you may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me why. Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. You might be right. The reason I helped her was for myself. Bizarro, you might be right. Bizarro just said it was to get payback on Mia. For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead. Do you understand why I killed Maya Fey now? What my goal was? I think I do. This appears to be a new statement, so...
Objection!
Could it be? That your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore. I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either.
You wanted to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to death because of that woman. Nia Fey. I somehow knew this was it.
You somehow knew because Bizarro said it in the comments.
I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she had made me feel. Sadly, when I realized my revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible... was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yeah. And I realized there is only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my vengeance against Mia Fey. That's why I reason I helped. That's why I helped out that woman with her plans. Just for that? Just for that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey.
As they say, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cold and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you. There's not a thing you can do to me. That night, it was about 9:30 p.m. I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warning hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was Eloise the Axum who channeled her after all. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. So it was Eloise who was possessed. Yeah, Pearl is definitely the highlight of this fucked up family. That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then, I took out a dagger I got from the storeroom and... the blood on the knife was Maya's. So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean? No clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed? At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it.
Objection!
That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. So, it was Eloise who was possessed. And she was trying to kill Maya. That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops?
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern, surrounded by darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern?
Maya didn't kill someone. She passed out and then she woke up in the cave. So who killed Misty? The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow, I had been trapped in there. Then how did hiding the body go? There's a lot of questions. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. She isn't even aware she's in Maya's body. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you.
I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern?
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted? Pearl was there.
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who?
Could it have been Maya? No, it had to be Pearl. I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern.
That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearl. Pearl went to cover the hanging scroll in gravy.
Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed, and the police had started their investigation, correct?
Oh, the bridge had been fixed, and the police had started their investigation, correct?
Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on the myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself.
The real Iris.
She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was all right. Stupid girl. I came out of the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what happened. It was then I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan had succeeded?
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed it was Pearl Faye.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back, Misty Faye, the picture book author.
What?
Well then, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there.
Somebody stabbed her when she was attacking Maya.
Maya Faye. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is?
Matricide. The sin of killing her own mother. I mean, she has a point. Maya would blame herself for that. No way! Order in the court. It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fey. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Faye's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Objection!
Ridiculous! That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple. That much is obvious. I don't know she would suffer jail time, but I don't think that's the point. She would punish herself because of what she did to her mom. In that case, there's only one place she could be. Where? Do I have to spell it out for you? The bottom of Eagle River. Where else? Eagle River? Lady, you wouldn't be able to be standing there if it wasn't Eagle River. If she was in Eagle River. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the river. Most bodies that wind up in there are forever lost. Phoenix ended up okay. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny? Well, that's not Phoenix's phone. We've heard Phoenix's phone before. Oops. Sorry. That's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Beep. Godot here. Shit. Okay. Thanks. Beep.
Was it something important?
They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? Shit. There was a woman in the cave.
Was it Maya Fey?
It was the accused's sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. Oh, I skipped something Phoenix said. Hold on, let me see if I have time to read it on the stream's thing. It's about to happen. Okay. He said something along the lines of, so does that mean Maya is dead? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. I think he said, oh, was Maya there too? No, it can't be.
Yeah, I don't know who Dahlia thinks she's possessing.
Maybe she knows she's possessing Maya and is just trying to fake her way out of it. That way no one else realizes. I told you, didn't I? She's dead.
Also, theoretically, there were probably other channelers there. But, first...
No! It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Eloise Diaxum, also known as Misty Faye, was her own daughter, Maya Faye. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Faye jumped to her death in the raging waters of Eagle River. It can't be. Wright, have you heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yeah, that's a quote from Sherlock Holmes. No matter how improbable it may seem.
What is it? Is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot?
According to this witness, Maya Faye threw herself into Eagle River. However, is that really the truth?
Huh?
Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right. That's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there.
Oh! He's referencing the original case!
What?
That's the thing that got you the first time, Dahlia.
Don't get your panties all twisted up, Wright. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible. Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River.
Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Faye threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim?
Yeah, it's the same as last time. It's the map. See, she would have hit that fucking rocks down there, that landmass. It's just like what happened with Mia. It's impossible to jump into Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf.
Oh, you're right!
She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should have been able to see her body in this photo. So you finally figured it out. You...
Order! Order!
You're just playing with me. Maya Faye's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, Whatever remains must be the truth. Yeah, just a few minutes ago. Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We know that she didn't throw herself into Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility that you're talking about? That's an obvious bluff. So, where is her dead body then? It's right in front of us. Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya Fey is? This very instant, Maya Fey is in this very courtroom. There is only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is here? You say she's here in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne. I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey. That pathetic little sniveling runt. Ah, that makes sense. She thinks Pearl is possessing her. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it happened. Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else had already channeled the spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime. But she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer and clearer to you right about now. Am I correct? It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you... called you before she could. I believe that would be...
Take that!
This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Fey is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already! I can't stand the tension! I'm like super hammered! Dahlia Hawthorne. The person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey! What? But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal. She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey. Yes, that's right! But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. What? I don't... What are you going on about? I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one. To protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura Temple was closed off, and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? She didn't possess Maya, Maya channeled her. You mean that when she channeled me? All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you. No, don't say that! You're saying that I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself! Isn't that obvious?
Objection!
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that, who has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have given her such a brilliant idea? Did Maya have an accomplice? Well, me, of course. Mia! Oh, this is gonna piss off Dahlia. Mia Fey? It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Pearl! Ugh. So it's true. It was you. Yes. You're something else. But what are you doing here? That hair. It's Pearl's, right? Tell me something, so Pearl didn't actually lose her channeling power. Dope. Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the inner temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey! Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. Then who killed Misty? She did?
Not terribly surprising, since she was about to be killed.
When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course. I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear.
And that was...
I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put the lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those things?
If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fae. Pearls? Yes, Pearls didn't properly understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan's, instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fae to kill Maya at all cost.
Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you! I won't forget this! Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping. Your very first crime. You got your hands on $2 million diamond, but after Terry Fowles escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault! It was because of that stupid oath of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you. But it's no longer funny. You wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face! And now this. You messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape. Even though she was right in front of you. Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you hadn't gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. Sure. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. Yeah, I also think the grammar should be hung, but this game was made in Japan, so, you know. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you. Because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. Shit, fuck. For all of eternity, you have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who never wanted anything. And for you, there is no escape, no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You're wrong! It can't be. How could I lose to likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Whoa! I think we found our thumbnail image. I'm not ready. Not ready to go! Maya! Nick? Sis? Help! Now then. I assume you are the real Iris? Yes. I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she just went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Faye wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to the end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Shit. Your Honor. Yes? What is it? This whole thing... this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Karain channeling technique.
Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult?
I've seen quite a few things in my years on the bench. And in all of that time, I finally learned this one thing. Don't fucking do any of it sober. If you're wasted, everything fucking makes sense. Oh, there's gonna be a parrot in the courtroom? That's fine, I'm loaded. Oh, we're gonna talk to a marionette puppet? That's fine, I'm wasted as fuck. Listen to me, Phoenix. Everything is easier when you are intoxicated as fuck. I gotta tell you, I went back in time and tried to kill you. Did you know that? Did I ever tell you that? You know how I went back in time? The power of booze, my man! Like holy fucking shit! I've learned another thing too, though. Each case is different, and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first, we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I tend to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment on the case of Iris of the Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
What? Dude! What are you doing? You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot?
This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means.
We never did realize. We never did figure out what happened.
What? We don't know who killed her. Right. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony. Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger, and I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya. She was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right.
The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Eloise Diaxum. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over! Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there is evidence that proves her innocence. No way.
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony.
The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Another witness?
Final witness?
This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really all right, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's all right, Madame Attorney.
Well then, who is this final witness?
Now, isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will be the final dagger in this case. Maya?
Someone who saw the whole murder take place?
The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't, she can't testify after what just happened. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fey to the witness stand.
Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fey to recover before summoning her. Just once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with this trial.
Hey, Wright. I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time you're going to have to do this by yourself. Shit, fuck.
That's enough. This court is now in recess.
February 10th, 2:56 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 1. I'm truly sorry for everything. You were working so hard to defend me. But I was missing all day, and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. We still don't know the mystery with her. Did Phoenix date her? How did she know Phoenix? When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, she had already switched places, and Iris was inside of the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help from the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent the entire day locked up in there. My sister. I felt so sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother, and never got any love from our father either. Yeah, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yeah, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was also so smart and strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. After talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago, yes, I wanted to be useful. Way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away.
She never was a good person.
Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up... That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yeah. 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her.
Okay, so now I realize what's going on. After he used the coffee to take the poison, frickin' Godot also drank from the cup. So because of that, Godot did get poisoned.
Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison from her. You. That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yeah, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Eloise Diaxum, was it really you?
We don't know. She hasn't said it yet. I think she dated Phoenix. She had to know Phoenix. But she hasn't said, yeah, I was, like, subbing in for my sister.
Yes, it was me.
We also know she's hiding a deep truth from Phoenix that Edgeworth made her promise to reveal in exchange for him being the defense attorney.
That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. Beep. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got there on the snowmobile and headed to the inner temple. But the path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. Beep. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say. Got it? It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body, so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Eloise always held.
Wait a minute. Who called her? Who the fuck called her?
Maya was still passed out. Who called her? I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yeah, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile. Well, that wasn't part of the plan, Bizarro. The bridge was burning because of the lightning, and they had to last minute come up with something. So they decided to pole vault the corpse. And also, it didn't actually go in the air like it looks like. What happened was we figured out, I don't think you were here when we figured this out. We figured out that Larry's drawing was upside down. And she was actually going underneath. They used her as a pendulum. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the shishimino. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called you on your cell phone. The real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. So she knows who did it?
Defendant!
Yes?
The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. He has offered you a pint. I advise you take it. Don't worry, it's not what you think. He just wants to rant about how much he hates Phoenix Wright. He does this with all of them. Him and Wendy Oldbag actually had a very rousing conversation about Netflix once. It was pretty informative. By the way, just be aware that Wendy Oldbag is always around, even though you might not know who she is. She's always watching. In fact, she may even be dressed as a bailiff and be putting on a voice.
But I guess you would have no way of finding out, would you? Did you really think I wasn't gonna pop up in the last couple of episodes? If you did, you're fucking stupid! Okay, later, bitch. That wasn't even my windy old bag voice. This is my windy old bag voice. Here we go. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? Edgeworth's promise. So it's true. I was cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix.
Mia!
How is Maya doing?
Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case.
I see.
Gah! You don't mean she's learned who Eloise D. Axum really was? Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya's stronger than you think. I knew she could take it, all of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure out that answer by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer, do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who the caller was, but still. I think that just maybe, I know who it is. that night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. The only person over there was Pearl. And the criminal wasn't there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by a pendulum. Was the killer Mia? Hear me out. What if Mia, realizing what was going on, possessed Pearls, who we knew was in that area at the time, and killed her own mom? That's my only theory right now. Maybe it was Pearls. I really hope that's not true. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they've stuck the inner temple side to the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day. And that would be Pearl. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Wait, it can't be Pearl's. Pearl's thought she lost the ability to channel, so that means Pearl didn't channel anybody. Well, then who the fuck could it be? Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it is, I have to prove it. Me. All by myself. To be continued. And we will be continuing tonight. But I gotta make a thumbnail for the next video. So, thank you guys for being in my jury. Take a little break, grab a drink, use the restroom, do whatever you gotta do. But be back here in a couple of minutes because we're about to finish Phoenix Wright. Ciao.